The flood. I have always been fascinated by the flood. I have theories and thoughts about what it must be like before the flood, going through the flood, and after the time just right after the flood. For instance, how large of a population was there at the time of the flood? Some people think, well, it must be just a very small population. You don't need to destroy the whole earth to kill it, just one big valley. Oh no. I firmly believe that there were more people living at the time of the flood than are alive today. Think with me. Science has now proven that we don't mature at 20 years old. We mature at 50 years old. And so we're made to live to be about 1,000, which makes sense. As far as other animals, as we look at a dog, the amount of time they're a puppy is very short compared to the life of the dog. The time that a cow is a calf is very short compared to the age of the cow when it dies. So if we mature at 50, we were meant to live to be about 1,000 years old, which is the way it was before the flood. So if they mature at 50 and then start having children, having one every year or two, well, you can see that they would have very large families, especially if they're still having children at 600 years old. And then if those children are also having these large families, and then people are not dying, because they're not dying until they're about 1,000 years old, it doesn't take much. You just put a calculator to it that there's a lot of people on the earth. And on top of that, the earth is perfect for having a large population. There's a canopy around the earth, an ice canopy, making a hothouse on the inside. It doesn't rain. It actually, a mist comes up. Then there's a layer of water beneath the surface of the earth. So there's water above the sky and beneath the surface, providing this hothouse. There's no desert, there's no mountains, there's no ice caps, there's a luscious vegetation, providing for a large population of people and animals. It's a large population. When Noah builds the ark, we often refer to this as a boat. But no, it wasn't a boat. It actually wasn't built to go anywhere. It was only built to float, just a box, kind of like a coffin. And it's interesting that this seafaring vessel was the largest one ever built in the history of mankind until the 1800s. Amazing. I have all kinds of theories. It's what I call the Walshite. You have to kind of bear with me right now about what happened. What caused the flood? This is my theory. The earth is upright. There is no tilt to it. There's this protective ice canopy around the earth, the water beneath the surface of the ground. And all of a sudden, a meteor hits the earth so strong that it causes it to tilt. That in itself would cause the water there above the sky to start falling to the earth in huge volume. And the earth itself shooting up fountains from the deep, so the water beneath the earth is shooting up. Mountains are pushed up, and low areas where oceans, and it's just destroying. It actually devastates the entire earth, killing everybody and all the animals, except God had prepared this little box with just a few people and a few animals. Yet that box, I'm sure, was being tossed around violently until finally it comes to rest on one of these newly formed mountains. But as they get off the ark, the people look around. Everything is different. the sky, these little fluffy white things that float across the sky. They hadn't seen those before, those clouds. The ground itself, rather than a lush earth with a lot of vegetation, it's rocky, it's barren, especially up on that mountain. And not realize that they themselves have changed. No longer will their descendants live to be 1,000 years old, but they will die younger, much younger. But also people will become more aggressive. They will, before the flood, there was a few murders, but not many, but now it was a way of life. There'd be wars, there'd be dictators and kingdoms, slaves, violence. And also the animals would become aggressive and wild. So that, and even the earth itself would be violent, would be harsh to their way of life. So many things have changed. As a child, my mother used to show me a rainbow and tell me the story of God's promise. I always loved seeing a storm come in from the west and see the black clouds and finally the lightning and then enjoy the rain. Oh, some people were afraid of it, but I always enjoyed it. But that wasn't the case for those people that were on the ark. After all this violence, after 40 days, the rain stops. But they're in that ark for almost a year. And that wasn't the last time it rained while they were on the earth, while they're in the ark. Oh no, there was regular rain coming. And I'm sure that every time those white fluffy clouds turned dark and the lightning came and suddenly it started raining again, I'm sure it ran panic throughout the entire ark as the people became fearful, screaming out, "It's happening again. We're lost this time. It's all over." So finally they get off the ark. And God pulls them aside and says, "Look up in the sky. See my rainbow. Be at peace. This rain that's coming, it will not destroy the earth again. Be at peace." Oh yes, that rainbow is a promise for us too, but not nearly as much as for those people that came off of that ark. Well, those are some of my theories, some of my Walshite thoughts. Hopefully it will cause a conversation, and maybe you'll theorize how things were. But meanwhile, come back next time when we give you more insights on the story.